Well, welcome back, Soulful Creators. It's summertime. I hope you guys are enjoying the summer. Todd and I were just talking about how summer is the perfect time to let your soul out so you can play and create. And so we thought we would dive in and just talk about some of the fun things that we are doing this summer. We know that the world has been through a really difficult time. We're living in really difficult times tonight. Todd, what do you think about what we've been through?
Well, it's been a struggle. I mean, to say the least, we've been, for 2 years, we've been pretty much indoors. And it's been nice just to kind of get out finally and to find people who are not outside with their masks on or inside with their masks on. It's just been so wonderful.
I even see people still wearing their masks because there's this whole threat of, the third, mutation or whatever.
Something.
I mean, what a relief. We've, my pool in my HOA here in my gated community is finally open. It hasn't been open for 2 years. I mean, we're finally seeing people out. Yep. We started jogging. Todd signed up for a marathon. Do you want to tell them about that? How that's going?
It's months away, but it's just been so nice to know that, okay, we're going to have an event outside that's not going to get canceled because of the pandemic. So we're just excited. Really, the first year. I mean, we did some things last year as far as we went to Hawaii and things, but COVID ramifications were so high. But now it's nice. We're back and we're having fun.
So, we thought we'd share some of the things that we've done with you guys. We want to know what you guys have been up to. We'd love for you to comment and share. We're all about promoting what it means to be a soulful creator, meaning that you're letting your soul out and become so full of love and light that you can't help but create and pass it on, right? And so your soul is really living through you and allowing your soul to be alive, because that's really the whole purpose of the soul. And, the soul wants to be able to play, and the soul wants to be able to create. And so we just wanted to let you know that, what we've been up to kind of the last little while, and also through, playing, we realize that, when we allow ourselves to express, when we allow that energy to come, our truest self come through us, and we allow ourselves to express through creativity, that actually is very healing for the human parts of us, because we're not just a human being, we're a spiritual being, right? And we often get out of balance and get all wobbly and skitty-wampus out of balance, and the humans always, wants to be in control, wants to control and not let the soul out to play, right? And so I think, it's super important that we understand that, if we're all made of energy, and everything's made of energy actually moves, it moves in waves, right? And so that means that it's constantly moving. And that's actually what we need to be doing as human beings, is allow ourselves to move. And I just, whether it's running, talking with a friend, some of us who have been through trauma might need to talk about our issues, or get a counselor or a spiritual consultant like Todd and I. Or, just getting on your bike, going on a road trip. I found that as I was going through the trauma that I was healing in my life, movement, whether it was me getting in my car and going on a quick road trip, or going for a jog and getting that stress out, because we're just like inside as human beings, we just go through life like this, like, am I barely making it through the day? We're just in this, we just curl up and we contract into this protection. We take our form and we just want to close up and close our hearts off and not allow ourselves to feel alive, right? Which is one of we have defined 4 stages of the soulful journey, which is what we're teaching. And and the first stage is alive. And, the soul wants to be alive. And I was telling Todd, when we first started dating, I took him down to a labyrinth down in St. George because I wanted him to have the experience that I had. And we did a little meditation and we walked the labyrinth, and I asked him to ask a question and to listen and kind of allow that experience, that answer to come to you, that to listen and let it come to you. And the thing for me was, do you remember what happened on that journey when we went down to it was kind of funny. It was a holiday, and here we are, 2 50-year-olds, And we literally, do you remember what we did?
Well, we jumped over the fence.
We hopped the fence, you guys. We did. We hopped the fence. It was closed. And I'm like, well, we didn't drive all the way down here for nothing. We're not leaving. So we hopped the fence and we went on this, we did this little walk on the labyrinth. And do you remember what happened to me? I started crying. I literally, because I heard Spirit say to me, you know, Jill, don't waste one more minute. There are millions of souls on the other side waiting for their turn to be alive. Literally, quote for quote. That was what Spirit said to me. And I realized in that moment that I'd been so angry about the human journey, about the human experience. And then I needed to forgive the human experience because it was so painful, right? Because the lower human journey is about pain, illusion, disconnection, reaction, fear, right? Mm-hmm. And I was so angry. I'm like, why did we have to go through this? Why did I have to go through divorce? Why did I have to let go of my business? Why do I have to rebuild my life when I'm 50 years old, when I'm supposed to be enjoying being a grandma, right? And now here I am still working. Like, it's, you know, why did this have to happen? Why do we have COVID on the planet, right? Yeah. I mean, I was angry about what we've been through, and I realized in that moment, I'm like, I am not embodying love. I have a vessel, a body, and I have a choice to either embody fear, which is going to create limitation, right? Fear that I need to survive, or I can embody love, which is going to emanate out, and I become a magnet of attraction, and then I'm aligned with creation, and then I'm actually being in a magnet of abundance when I am aligned with the energy of love, because love is the energy of truth and power, and you know, it's the energy of creation. It's the attraction, that magnetic attraction that literally holds all the planets together, right? Right. And so I'm like, I need to switch my energy. In that moment, I went, oh my gosh, I need to let go of the human experience and be grateful for what I've been through, because our ancestors, you know, that came before us paved the way so that we could actually wake up and allow the soul to be alive, so the soul can live through us and the soul can do its soul work and can figure out its purpose and can fulfill its mission, right? To really understand and create truth and see, wow, you know, I'm going to do nothing but create greatness and I'm going to do my best. And when I choose love, I get to get that reflection of attracting great people in my life that then show me who I am. I get to have a reflection because I'm emanating, you know, I am embodying the earth element of creation. I am embodying abundance and love. Therefore, now it goes out and great people come to me. And that's the process of creation through attraction, act to attract, okay? Yeah. So just something simple that Todd and I are teaching through the book that we're writing. And, you know, I just wanted to kind of talk about, you know, explain a little bit through what we've been through this summer. Why don't you tell them what you've been working on? Like what Soulful Creation project you've been working on? Yeah,
well, it's been a project. It's been going, we've been writing a book, and it's based on kind of her first book, and we kind of took it, and we're trying to make it into something more of a story. And so, and we, through our talking about, we have these great conversations, and we're like, wow, and we always come to where we're thinking, okay, how can we make this really easy to portray and to talk to people about?
So one thing, just to, not to interrupt, but just want to explain that, you know, the book that I wrote was about love and how to align with love. And so we kind of started this Soulful Creation, this project together, which has been something that's kind of unified us together. And when Todd got involved with it, my book was all based on research. It was very serious. It was very spiritual. It was kind of woo-woo. And Todd's like, Jill, this is not realistic, remember?
Well, we're trying to make it so it sounds that we have a lot of people we think we can help this. And there's a lot of people out there who like spirituality, but also a lot of people who need help with a lot of different things. I mean, trauma and all sorts of things where people like divorce, you know, we're both divorced.
Rebuilding your life
rebuilding
after
our
divorce.
Lives, you know, rebuilding your relationships, rebuilding your health.
Or creating abundance. After you go through a divorce, you're basically broke. So trying to rebuild that stability and that foundation. So Todd's like, we need to teach this, but like, it's so heavy, Jill. He's like, we got to find a way to lighten it up and not make it so woo-woo that it's not relevant or, easy to bring into reality.
And what better way than to make it into a story,
right?
I mean, Hollywood has done that for years and years as far as how do they tell great stories is, like Pixar and all those are just great stories that are with people for a long time. Again, we're not saying our story is going to be like a Pixar movie, but the story format just works because you can kind of explain about, because there's two people. There's Hugh, the human, and then there's the soul named Saul. So it's kind of like his spirit self.
So I just want to back up for a second and let you guys know, we teach about what it means to be creative, right? And to flow with that process and not judge yourself, put time limits on it, learning to work as a co-creator with the universe and allowing yourself to have the journey, the soulful journey, and let things come and unfold naturally as they're supposed to happen. And so we were just enjoying the process through the energy of passion and play. And we were kind of having this dialogue back and forth about how to come out with this, to teach these concepts in a way that people will enjoy integrating them into their lives and that they'll be able to see themselves through the concepts. And Todd was like, and so I said, well, gosh, there's parts of me that feels like I want to just say, the human part of me would say, I'm so angry that I've had to be through, that I've had to go through the human journey. Like, why did this have to be part of the plan of creation, right? And then the soul part of me would have said, you should be grateful for that because, it's what woke me up. It's what wakes the soul up and helps you realize that pain isn't your home and pay attention inside now. There's another way of being, right? So there was this dialogue that we started to realize, and Todd had recorded the conversation that we were having, and we realized, oh my gosh. And he's like, aha. He's like, that's it. Let's teach the concepts through two characters. And we had been studying Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey and understanding that all great movies, all great books go through this particular cycle. And so we started to look at that and we thought, let's redo this serious research, all of the channeling and spiritual guidance that I received that I documented for 10 years, and let's put it into this really fun book. And then people will get interested, and it's a way for us to share the journey that we understand that you guys that we're all on. We're all soulmates. We're all on that journey. So tell them about what has it been like for you to be, vulnerable and not put a time limit on it?
Well, that's been hard because as a writer, you want to put yourself on some type of a schedule, right? But a lot of times we would write something, I would write something, and then we'd have a really good epiphany about that topic, and so it would kind of slowly, change the book a little bit. So we'd have to go back and kind of revise and do some things, and that it was hard for me at first because I'm saying, Jill, I need to get this book done, right?
And I think he was in a hurry to I'm rebuilding after a divorce. I need to make money. He's like, I need to figure out a product. We need to get something launched. It was all about we're doing it for the money, and then talk about that. Spirit doesn't really work around.
No, that
way.
It's all about providing value, right? I'm not in this to make money. We don't know. We're just trying to share something that we think is pretty cool, and we want to, somewhat build a community, behind it. So
with that said, just a point that I'm remembering, is that one of the lessons that we've both had to learn through me writing my book and him going through the same process is that when you think that you have to ask yourself, why am I writing this book? Am I writing this book for my ego? Am I writing this book because I want to, be the savior and heal the rest of the world? Am I writing? And then what Spirit was going to say is well, we're not, Spirit kind of well, you don't get it. You can't write from a place of ego. Ego is edging God out. That means you're not working with Spirit. You're not working with your soul. And so there's this part where you will struggle with your creative project until your ego gets smashed. And you realize, I can't do this without help and collaboration, and I need to work with my soul, and I need to meditate, and I need to slow down, and I need to listen to my soul, and right? And then, Todd came to me, he's like, well, Jill, obviously when you just do what you love and you're going to do it anyway because you're so passionate about it, and the passion is what drives you, right? Passion is being so full of love and light that you can't help but pass it on, right? We want to pass on the story. So it's, doing it anyways, even if you don't have all the answers, even if, okay, I'll be vulnerable right now. I've gone through skin issues, okay, guys? That's why I'm wearing a hat. That's why I haven't been on camera for a while. And I'm realizing Spirit saying, hey, you are imperfectly perfect. Perfectly imperfect. There we go. You are perfectly imperfect. You are a perfect spiritual being, and you are an imperfect human being. You are perfectly imperfect. And love is what accepts that. And when you're on a soulful project and you're creating, you have to have this realization that, like, I'm going to act in, rather I'm going to act, if I'm in fear that I don't look perfect for you guys, and you're like, oh, who's Jill? Why should I listen to her? She's been on a journey. She's had trauma. Oh, she's just a human being. She's nothing. She doesn't have anything to give that's worthwhile, right? And so in the back of my mind, I have this little devil going, people are going to say you're not, you don't have value to give. Well, I just got a call from one of my coaching clients that I coached a year ago that said, Jill, you taught me in so much in 3 months. She's like, I just want to come give you a hug. So thank you, Kinsey. I love you so much. And she's actually launching her own Instagram channel now because of she wants to share her story. So just the point that when you do what you love, when you act, the money follows, right? But you got to act, even in the face of fear. Do I think it's fun that I have these horrible scars? No, I hate them. I hate them. But I'm trying to love them. I'm trying to say, I'm not going to focus on that I'm, not perfect. I'm going to just do my best. And hey guys, I'm in sales. I have to face people and be judged every day, and I have 30 seconds to make an impression. Okay? And Todd can tell you how hard it's been for me. I am definitely a human being. There are days when I look in the mirror and I'm like, my scars, because of the trauma that I've been through, I'm like, they're never gonna, I'll get in the I'm never gonna be pretty again.
Well, that's what kept her off the video for so long, just because there's certain things you're gonna have that I'm okay with, and there's certain things you're like, well, I'm not okay. It's like, well, let's just go on and start talking to people. And she's like, well, and in my own time, and now she's finally ready.
Well, and I think, I've been going through this with these scars for at least a couple of years. I have had so much help from Spirit. Just want to give a plug for my friend Charisse, who was, was going through a health issue. She was recovering from cancer, and she told me about beaches, that they did the red light, and I had been through and had estheticians do microneedling, and the microneedling created more scars, and so it was just getting worse. And I just was like, I'm beside myself. I don't know how to heal my face. And it was super vulnerable. I had to show my boss, had to tell him why it was hard for me to get on Zoom in the morning, why it was hard for me to get up and be confident and go make my company $3 million, a year. It's hard, right? So, but I realized when we were talking not too long ago, I've been wanting to get this information. I feel like Todd and I have really been practicing the soulful journey, at a much deeper dive, understanding, having our own issues, creating my own skin, creating the book. We all have our little projects that we're creating. We're learning to be manifestors, magicians in the tarot, if you will. And, when Todd was talking to me last week, he's like, Jill, people just document their journey. And, we're old enough. We're older. We're not old. We're older. We learned that last week. But we're old enough to know, but remember that during our generation, everything needed to look perfect, or else you'll be judged like that. And we're not living in that world anymore. We're living in a world where
it's messy.
It's messy, and we're learning. There's all kinds of things on. We're watching all kinds of trash TV where stuff that's on TV would never have been on TV during our time. Yeah. People are Spirit is forcing people to accept the human imperfect world and to love one another anyways, right? Mm-hmm. To choose to love anyways, even though you're in fear, and your instinct or your reaction as a human being might be to judge, to compete, but we're being challenged to fear. So, I'm getting a little bit off topic here, but I always love an opportunity to teach. Mm-hmm. With back to your book, realizing that if you do what you love, the money will follow. And I just think, do you want to talk about how it's been vulnerable for you to go on this journey to learn how to be a soulful creator?
Well, it's like, I think, again, most people, there might be people that are like, what is a soul, right? Well, it's kind of like your intuition. It's kind of like that inner voice that talks to you, right? And so I've had a really interesting discussion with my inner voice and my soul during this project. And it's been, I mean, I get up early morning and I try to write at least something, 500 to 1,000 words a day, right? So, and sometimes it flows. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's a mess.
And you're a writer as a career.
Yeah, as a career, but every day is a different day, and that's okay. And then a lot of times you start to judge yourself, like, well, I'm just not
good
I
enough.
have writer's block, or what is this, right?
Yeah.
Or that's just part of life, right? And so what I do is I'm just trying to connect with, okay, what would I be if I'm in this position again? Because a lot of the book and a lot of even the topics are things that me and Jill have gone through in our life. And so it's pretty easy to kind of put yourself through that filter, and it makes the writing a lot easier because you've lived it, right? So.
But even before you were writing, he was, when we first met, you were like, Jill, everything that you say, you have this different spiritual language, and I can't even understand what you're saying.
And that's the whole part of it, is I'm just trying to take what she tells me and put it through a filter of, because again, I'm your average guy, right? I don't get a lot of the times, the language that a lot of spiritual people speak, and it's just like, and a lot of times it just goes right over my head. And so my thing is like, let's just put into a story. Let's just, again, because a lot of the topics that people are in spirituality, they're just base concepts that have been taught by people for thousands of years, right? And so it's just, how do you use that information to then help people? How do you put it through your filter first and put it through your own experiences, and then that you can share that out to the world. And so,
well, and what's really funny is, lately he's been, I remember 2 years ago when we started this project, you would use the word oneness, and he'd be like, what is that? He's like, would you please speak English? And now he's like, I find myself wanting to bring that word back into the book, oneness. So the journey itself.
Well, yeah, the journey itself is like, I'm finding really who I am, because I'm having to dig deep. And a lot of times I don't like what I see sometimes, it's like, I don't like that. But I know that that's what people can relate to that, right? They like the messy parts of themselves. That's what I think attracts people to a certain, like, hey, we're not perfect. We are just trying to give our gift out there. We're trying to say, hey, we've been through this. I know there's probably thousands of people that are out there just like Jill and I that we're trying to just make it every day, right? And so that's kind of what we're trying to do, is we're just trying to share our experiences in our stage of life. We're in that, what do you call it, the third act?
I call it the third act, yeah.
Third act,
But
whatever.
back to just like one kind of cool thing I would love to share that my daughter, my wise millennial daughter, shared with me. She's like, I was thinking about, of course she's an air sign, right? Air sign, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, they're always in their head, right? And she's like, I was thinking about how messy life was. And she's like, I realized that that's just a sign of life. That when there's a mess, of course you see a big old garbage, or you see a city that's dirty. That's just a sign of life. You see a messy house, that's a sign of life. Think about it. Somebody's been there, they've thrown their clothes on the floor, they've ran out the door and gone to work, they didn't do the dishes. It's a sign of life. And so why do we resist that life is messy, right?
Well, why do we judge either?
Right.
Why do we judge people who are messy? That's the thing. It's like, you live messy, because that's where you find things out. That's where you find who you truly are, is when you live messy. You're not worried about going out and being perfect all the time. You want to show people that, hey, I live messy, and I'm just trying to learn every day. And
again, it's about, like I said, I need to love my scars if I'm going to embody love, right? That's how they're going to heal, is through the energy of love. We'll love the mess, right? Because guess what? The message is in the mess. That's where we learn the truth, right? That's when we learn our truth, is through the mess.
Deep.
Yeah. Always, find some good old deep nuggets. So that goes to our the second stage of the soulful journey, which is aware. Because in aware, we really talk about unraveling that mess and kind of getting it out there, laying it out. It's kind of like cleaning your closet, laying out all the clothes, trying to figure out what still fits, right? Which belief still fits? Does that jacket fit still? And if I go to put it on, it's too tight. It's like, no, that doesn't fit anymore. That's a bullshit belief, right? So we talk about this more in some of our other videos, and we're going to be coming out with more and explaining the
We just wanted to get back
journey.
and say, hey, we're here, we're having fun, we're enjoying the summer, we're trying to embody the first step of being alive, right? Which is really tapping into that inner child of yourself, right? Like who wants to go out and play, gets up and on the bike and heads downtown and with their buddies, right? It's kind of like embodying that spirit when you were young. Because I remember summer for me was playing baseball, and that just brings back great memories. And so a lot of times when we get old, we forget about the things that we love to do, right? And it's kind of like tapping into that. Go for a run. I mean, there's so many things that you can learn by going and moving, because when I run, I almost take a notepad with me because I have so many good ideas that come from that run, right? Because your brain is being stimulated by the movement.
And the air. The air that you breathe, the oxygen that you bring in, the extra oxygen gives you clarity.
Yeah, so if you're going, if you have an issue, go get moving. Take that problem with you and think about it on your walk or your run. And I promise you'll get some
and don't distract. Like, you don't need to listen to music. You can just run and listen to be with yourself, be with your higher self, be with your soul.
Yeah. Think about that. That's the thing. That's true. A lot of people listen to music when they run. I think I go out with an issue. I'm like, okay, here's something I want to think about. And then by the time I get back, I've got a whole, And,
I mean, I have to commend Todd for, like, the book that he's writing it's a conversation between the two parts of ourselves, the human being and spiritual being. And so it's not just writing instructions or telling us, he's literally writing it from a place that there's two characters that have dialogue, and through that dialogue, they have awakenings and transformation. So I'm super excited for you guys I know Todd has put a lot of work into it this last year, and it's
not done yet, but it's coming.
He's almost done. So
we're getting
we say that he's on he's got a couple more edits left.
And we'll start sharing some nuggets of each because there's great concepts that have come out of this that I think that a lot of people would like to hear and that maybe need to hear it. And so we're just here again documenting what we're doing.
Yep.
We're having a good time. We're enjoying the process, and that's the whole thing, is enjoying the process more than anything.
Right. So do you want to talk more about Alive and just talk about summer and what we've done and share with them kind of some of the fun things we've been doing?
Well, we're going to, I love getting out, and we're going to Hawaii in 2 weeks.
With my daughters.
We've been in San Diego. We've been to
San Diego with the grandkids. That was super fun.
There's a place in western Colorado called Palisade. Beautiful little place. We went to some wineries. We're just loving the experiences of what summer
literally
brings.
We got on, in Palisade, you get on a little bike, and it's a teeny tiny town kind of in the middle of nowhere. There's like a 20-mile bike path radius, and you can just you basically can do flights and then just get on your bike and go to the next winery and meet people and have great conversations. And there's music, and there's great cheese and charcuterie boards, and
just being on bikes, as a kid, it was just like getting on, and it's been fun. So we're trying to stay awake, stay alive, stay tapped into our inner selves, our inner child that we're trying to talk about more. So, and we'll talk about this more in the future too.
One of the things I wanted to just point out with Alive is, Alive is all about the fire energy when it comes to the element of creation. And fire is always moving. You can't have a fire that doesn't have a flame that has a different, it moves, it catches fast, wildfire catches fast. And, we are either feeling lower vibrations of pain or higher vibrations of passion, passion is intense love, that it can't sit still. It literally has to move. Pain is when the fire within us is literally burning ourselves. We're literally blocking, putting, walls around our heart, saying, I don't want to feel. And, really resisting that we are a sentient being with a heart that ignites energy and is the spark of life, you know, and the heart that fuels the fire that moves us through life, right? And when we resist feeling that movement through life, that ability to feel, we actually block our heart off so that our heart can't heal us. And we literally get stuck in the human journey feeling pain over and over and over and recreating pain over again. So pain is making us contract, put us in that, you know, protective, stressful, like I got fired, I got, you know, I have a divorce, or I'm pissed that I lost everything in my divorce, or, you know, whatever the anger, whatever the pain is, I'm still mad at my mom, you know, still mad at my sister, I don't talk to my family, I hate my ex, like I can go on and on and on about the human journey. And, you know, I got rejected, I feel like a piece of crap, he threw me away like a piece of trash, whatever, I can tell you because I've been there, you know, in all of those illusions and lies. But you know, pain keeps us stuck, and it literally is blocked, and it's like stuck around our heart, and our heart can't even, it's like our heart's not open to let the love in. And we are just moving through life with this protective behavior, and what it's doing is it's trapping that pain inside to where the heart only feels pain. And so when we play, when we move, and we use our senses, our five senses, to play through life. You know, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. We get out, we start tasting wine and cheeses, and we get the energy moving, and we're smelling the air, and we're seeing how beautiful the mountains are, and we're having great conversation, and we're connecting with life, and, you know, we're feeling, we're having, the senses allow us to bring that life into our vessel so that we can feel. And it's so the way out of pain, I mean, I have personal friends of mine that are stuck in protective behavior of not being able to be in a relationship because of fear of losing, of loss, right? And literally blocking off that energy, contracting and when you have repressed energy that you're not allowing to move through you, it literally turns into depression. And so when we decide to get out of the sheets and move our little butt, you know, take a walk, talk to a friend, quit keeping it in, right? We allow the energy, the pain energy in our cells to literally move through us and come out. That's when we have to remember that the soul wanted us to feel alive, and that feeling is part of being alive, because feeling is how we're going to heal. When we feel, we heal. Because that's when we feel again and we're like, oh yeah, I went to this Palisades and I had wine, we laughed and we kissed and we had, you know, great music and fun, and went in the pool and the hot tub. We played like kids. In that moment that we're being childlike, our soul is like, yeah, remember that you said you wanted to be alive? Remember how fun this is? How much you wanted to be here and be in a body and feel? You know, and so feeling, actually then it starts to crack open break down, it burns away those walls around the heart. It just burns it, because the fire's got to burn, right? So the energy of the heart can then get strong enough, it can burn the walls, start to open, start to let out some of that pain, and then let in the light, let in the love, the intense love, which is the passion. Let it in so that we can have a passion for life, and that's what heals us from the lower energies of the human journey. That's what helps us rise, to burn the pain away, that's heavy, dark energy that then allows us to rise into these lighter, higher vibrations that are the energies of inspiration and motivation that ignites our passion, so that we can feel fully alive. And that's the way that I see alive, you know, and that the soul really wanted to feel fully alive and feel the energies, the high energies of joy and happiness, and being with our grandkids and being with our kids. And, you know, just because we're over 50 doesn't mean life needs to end. You know, doesn't mean we need to be ornery old farts. You know, the soul wants us to enjoy every minute that we're here. And do not waste our time. Let our soul live, be alive, so that our soul can do that soul work of healing our hearts.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, when you get to be our age, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, I've always been obsessed with time, because I feel like I lost a lot of it with my divorce, right? And so I'm always in this, I'm obsessed with time, because I feel like I need to live more to get more of it back. And that's I think what the whole part of alive for me is that I probably have done more living in the last 3 years than I did in a long time. And so I'm getting some of that time back because I'm living every day, and I'm not numbing with other things that weren't productive and things like that, right? So it's and that's what part of it to me is like getting outside and running and walking and doing biking and going and forcing yourself to have experiences, because when you do that, that is really when, I mean, if you're having a hard time, when that pain will just kind of somewhat be lessened because you're doing things that have made you happy in the past, right? And so, I mean, it's for everybody. Anybody who has heartache or divorce or
trauma,
rejection, anything like that. It's the formula just to get up and moving. A lot of people, when you're depressed and you just had a divorce, you want to stay inside. You're like, no, get out, go and take yourself out and have to a dinner or something that makes you happy. Go out and for a walk or go to a movie or something that just kind of gets you out.
Yeah, and I think that so that's the point, is that when we're in pain, we often don't want to feel, but that's exactly what has to happen in order for us to heal. And if it's going to a movie of something that all of a sudden opens you and you shed a tear and it helps open you, that's exactly what needs to happen in order for you.
Well, it kind of comes out, right? And this is what I've been learning just for writing the book, is when pain comes out, it hurts. And we had those memories of something that happened that didn't feel good. When you're doing something you do enjoy, it actually lessens it. It's almost like you're giving it something. You're just easing the pain out a lot easier, right? Because it's not so. Where you don't have to feel that strict pain coming out. When you're doing things that are fun, it's almost like it's releasing water, out and it just helps.
It's like cleansing the dark, the
I'm
toxicity.
struggling with the metaphor right now, but it's just like
detoxing, kind of.
Yeah, it just helps.
You're releasing the pain, and pain. If you think about fire, what it does is it transforms the wood into ashes, right? That then float off into the air. So it's that lightning process from form to burn, and then when you let it go, then you feel much lighter, and you can then start, it gives you a clean slate of energy to start then feeling good and light and free, right?
And then by the end of the day, you feel like
transformative.
You almost forgot about maybe one of your problems you had. You're going, wow, I was in a big funk this morning, and now I'm feeling so much better, And so that you build on that for the next day.
Yeah, and pain says, what my favorite thing that I learned from Iyanla Vanzant is pay attention inside now. And there was I think it's Laura Story Blessings, there's a line in her lyrics that says, pain is not my home. It's not our home. And that was part of my healing, was when I would listen to that song and it would just make me cry. And I'm just like, yeah, I've got pain in here, and it's not my spirit's home. It's not my soul's home. I need to figure out how to transform and burn the pain of the human journey. Burn that away, get rid of the anger, learn how to let go, learn how to forgive, learn how to be grateful for pain's message. What is the message in your pain, right? Yeah. And that's what we'll talk about in the next video, where we talk about aware, because the first step for us all is, I get people that come for coaching all the time, and I realize they're just distracting or numbing. And I'm like, if you're distracting or numbing, I'm not going to be able to work with you. Like, the first step I've got to do is help you remember joy and open your heart and get you feeling again. So I have people I have to say, please, I need you to take all your distraction behavior, whether that's shopping, addicted to sex, alcohol. I mean, we could go computer gaming, on and on and on. There's so many ways that we distract so that we don't feel. And I have to bring that to awareness and say, are you willing to put these behaviors aside? Because I can't work with you until you're a human vessel, a sentient being willing to feel, right? Yeah. And,
perfect.
It's amazing. I'll bring out chocolate and lemons, and I'll bring out, I bring out lots of different things that awaken all the five senses. The music, right? Yes. The music. I use all different types of therapies to try to help them experience the joy of life, through touch or whatever. Like, we want to be able to feel life in such a way that it's safe, that I'm remembering it's okay for me to feel life again. It's okay for me to feel touch and let that in and have that feel good. It's okay for me to have a piece of chocolate or ice cream, and I don't need to deprive myself, because it triggers the endorphins of the hormones in the brain that signal feeling good. And we have to remember, the soul came here to feel good, right? And that's the first step of the soulful journey, is we have to figure out what feels bad and what feels good. And that's why we have to be fully alive, is we have to feel. Period. Right. Because if we don't feel, we can't heal, and then we don't get into chapter 2, which is our second step of the soulful journey, which is about aware. We can't then process the pain, and once we get the pain out, we can look at it. Then the brain can go to work and start sorting and looking at, and we'll talk about more about that in our next video on aware.
Well, welcome back. We're excited to be back. We're excited for summer. We're gonna go out and probably go for a walk again today. So thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us.
Hope you guys are enjoying your summer, taking advantage of the sun. The sun.
Get out there, be alive.
Feel the love. Feel the love of the sun. Let it come down on you. Feel the heat.
Tap into your inner child.
Yes, tap into your inner child. Let your inner child, let your soul out to play. Okay,
That's right.
That's the main message for today.
Okay.
All right, you guys.
We'll see you in the next video.